continuation. Sorry about that interruption. Hopefully I'll be able to splice these two together. If not, then they will exist as two separate videos. Sorry, but my technology is limited so far. Um, Getting back to what I was saying, we have got to take responsibility for our own health, our own growth, our own evolution, our own processes, and we can't we can no longer look look to people in places that we have put them to look out for our best interest, because our best interest is not their best interest. Their interest is what the corporation says. Their best interest is who pays them. They listen to who pays them. You think you pay them by your tax? That's not how that works. That's not how that works. That's how they taught you that works, but that's not how that works. How much influence do you have in how much the military gets versus how much healthcare gets? How much influence do you have in that? Not you giving it away. You said the people that I elected are going to do this for me, and I'm going to comply with their decisions. I'm not speaking anarchy. I'm not speaking revolution. I'm speaking evolution. There needs to be a new way. There needs to be a way of accountability for each of us. And that starts with each one of us takes responsibility for ourselves. My health is not the government's responsibility. It's mine. They cannot regulate my body, what I put into it, what I expel from it, what I excrete from it, what I take in, what I eat. They want me to inject my cells with viruses and diseases, and that is no longer the way that is beneficial to us. Once upon a time, that was beneficial because you had individuals in that system who made sure that, yes, they profited, but there were fail-safes in place. There were inspections that took place. There were checks and balances that were not overran because the health of the constituents mattered. Families mattered. Family unit and unity mattered. It no longer matters. Look around. It no longer matters to the powers that are in place. They are poisoning the ground with GMO foods. They are poisoning the air with chemtrails. They are poisoning us with dis-ease, emotional, physical, spiritual, mental, dis-ease. And so many of us are still sheep and cows, just going with the herd, just going where we're pushed, you know. Meanwhile, They are fracking in the grounds, and the CDCs are stockpiling coffins and different things to contain for catastrophes that are coming. And we are so tunnel visioned in our little, I got to pay the rent, I got to do this, I got to do that, I don't have enough, that we cannot focus on what we need to focus on, bringing the changes that we need to bring, because we don't see. Getting back to the monopoly and the corporations and this, one of the things that Spirit is showing me that I've been meditating on, and things that I'm being led to learn and to incorporate in my being and beingness, is there is a fight for clarity, for mental clarity, for keeping yourself awake. It takes vigilance. It takes self-love. And it takes a willingness and a will to fight against the system that is in place. Many of us say, oh, I'm not a fighter, I'm not a fighter, I'm not a fighter. If you won't fight for yourself, why do you think someone else will? If you don't fight for your children, what makes you think someone else will? If you don't fight for your rights, your divine rights, you give all your power away. You give it to the churches, you give it to religion, you give it to all these institutions, these man-made institutions, when the temple that you should be most concerned about is within. This is where we need to be concerned. This is where our attention needs to be focused. One of the things that Spirit is giving to me, and that I've been having deep conversations and meditations and getting myself into a position where I am connecting the dots with the physical, the mental, spiritual spiral connection. And in doing that, I'm learning that we have to be responsible, and we need to go back to the old ways. The old ways depended upon the earth, not man. The old ways depended upon the earth for healing. You know, there were plants, there were energies, there were stones, there were crystals, there were frequencies in sound, there was different wood, there were sweats, there were cleansings and purifications, there were rituals that took place to keep you integrated, grounded, centered, healthy, and whole. Right now, we are going into an age, well, we are already entered that age, let me correct that. We are entering the age of letting go of this former 3D way of being, thinking, knowing, learning, living. And in leaving that arena, you have to learn to be in tune with yourself, aligned with yourself, and have your self vibrating at a frequency that is copacetic with the planetary alignments, with the harmony of the planet, the way it's rotating on its axis, the way the winds are blowing, the way is congruent. Everything must work together. And we have to take responsibility. We have to stop giving away our responsibility. We can't blame someone else. We can't put our well-being in the hands of someone else. Their interest is not in us. Their highest intention is not in benefiting us. It's in benefiting themselves. Self-love demands that you be responsible for yourself. Self-love demands that you be honest with yourself. Self-love demands that you know your inside, what drives you, what moves you, what makes you cry, what touches the most tender parts in you, what makes you want to be intimate with society and not vulnerable, not a victim, but a member of. And we have to get there. It's funny that, we are this divine created wonderful beings, and we are so young in our evolution that we have to remember that we are empowered, that we have power over ourselves. We are our own kings and queens. We are our own gods and goddesses. It is not outside of us, but the man in the mirror that has to change, that has to adapt, that has to begin to assume responsibility for self, for planet, for children, for village, for community, for brothers and sisters. Because we are all one. You can't say, I'm conscious, I'm a conscious being, and not be at peace with your brothers and sisters, or with the universe, or with the ancestors. You can't be conscious and not at peace with those elements, because those elements interact and influence your realm of being. And we all need help outside of ourselves. And that's where those forces and sources come into play. They're here to help, to aid us in the evolution of the growth that we need to participate in. I don't mean to ramble, and I'm not trying to step on anyone's toes, so to speak. But there is coming a time, and I've seen so many. I don't want to get too graphic, and I don't want to stir fear. I want to stir responsibility within you, self-responsibility. I want to stir your imagination. I want to infuse your spirit with divine strength and remembrance. I want to reconnect you to all that you are and all that you have ever been and all that you are capable of being. That is my intention sitting here and speaking and putting on the makeup and slapping on the wig. This is priestess energy, high priestess energy. And when I go into this mode, it is deeply powerful for me because I sit back and I look at these tapes, whether you listen to them, whether you think I'm just talking out of or whatever. It strengthens me because I get to look at the spirit that is speaking through me. I get to not only hear it internally, but visualize, get the visual eye contact and the energy exchange with it. And that's the purpose of this video, these videos. Um, we have to become aware of what we're putting inside our bodies. Um, Healthcare. We've got to get back to the roots, literally. I just laugh at Mama's sense of humor sometimes. The roots, the leaves, the branches, the sap. You know, we look at everything, but we don't realize the life force that exists inside plants, inside trees, inside rocks, inside a blade of grass, inside of water. There is a life force, there is a life energy that exists to embrace us because we are part of it. And that's why we drink water. That's why we eat life force, things with life force that have contained life force. We need that life force to keep us alive. And we have lost the respect for the connection. We have lost the awareness that this life force is kin to our life force. And you cannot just willfully exterminate a life force without consequences. And that's what's going on right now. We have animals that are becoming extinct because of man's ignorance, unfeeling, inability to relate, inability to broaden your perspective, inability to honor the circle and cycle of life. I'm getting ready to, in my own growth and evolution, I've started working with oils and learning about oils. This is the ancient plant life. This is, I always speak of, I started this with speaking of my mother. My mother was a natural woman. She grew her own spices and herbs and made her own medicine. And like I said, we didn't want to be sick around her because she had something for us for every little thing. And she would try things. Let me try this. Let me try that. And so we grew up drinking castor oil and Father John and tisanes and poultices being plastered on our chests and put on our faces and all kind of stuff. that was because people didn't have the money to go to the doctors. Okay, when the doctors and aspirin and the pharmaceutical companies monopolized the health industry, yes, they made it easier for you to get these things, but they also generated and synthesized that which was natural in the process. See, there are plants that you can take for a headache instead of popping a pill. There are aromas, essence, plant life force that you can just smell, and it brings you immediate relief. And in getting ready to go into this field of homeopathic and herbalistic and natural remedies, I have encountered people that's, oh, girl, that oil costs too much. Girl, is you crazy? I'm not finna pay that amount of money. I can go to the dollar store and give me some frankincense and myrrh and blah, 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 lavender. Come on now. Really? Okay. Let me tell you about that. See, you've been conditioned with quality, quantity, capitalistic stuff that has taken away the true essence of the life force. The life force, if you're going to get something, you want the highest frequency that you can get to interact with your frequency. If you go to lower grade products, you get lower grade results. You get lower grade frequency. You get lower grade. Simple as that. But if you invest in yourself, in taking care of yourself and getting the best for yourself, for your headache, your thyroid glands, your whatever. As a diabetic, I'm taking, and other things, I'm taking so much medications. But what Spirit is telling me right now is it's time to get away from those things, those medicines, because there's so many side effects. They're toxifying more than what they're healing. And I'm not saying don't go to the doctor. I'm not saying the oils will heal you better than a doctor will or what they describe for you. I'm telling you to look into your own health, to take responsibility for your own healing. I'm telling you to internalize your connection with life force and understand what you add to it and how you detract from it. By the things you consume, by the things you ingest, by the things you smell and inhale and breathe in on a daily basis. It's time to tune in to that life force. And that life force propels you to proceed in a manner that is loving. Loving of yourself, loving of spirit, loving of the universal flow, loving of the divine frequency within and without, above and below. And all of this is tied together. If you think that it's not, then you're really sleeping hard, okay? And you need to wake up. You need to pinch yourself. Pinch yourself because you're sleeping too hard. We have to take responsibility for our healing. We have to be ready and willing to do the work. It's not easy. It's not easy confronting your fears. It's not easy confronting your own demons. It's not easy confronting your shadow. But you need to get to know your shadow intimately. You need to get to know your fears intimately. You need to hold them and hold their hands and say, it's okay. I see the truth of this, and I know, what triggers it. But now that we're aware, we don't have to stay in that fear zone. We are safe. We are comfortable. We are unlimited in our potential to expand. Me experiencing sadness is not going to kill me. Me experiencing joy is not going to render me useless or incapable of experiencing all the other emotions. And I'm not going to get so addicted to one feeling that there's no room for others. You have to expand yourself. There are so many solutions. There's so many solutions. We only concentrate and focus on what we have created as problems. And we need to get to the point where we are focusing in on solutions instead of blaming, blaming and listening to debates and philosophies and putting people in charge of our reproductive system, whether we take shots or not, or what we inject into our body, what we eat, what nourishes us, the water that we drink. Monopolies. At one point, water was free, and it was good water. And then people found out that, hey, if you bottle it and say it's pure, then, what everyone else is drinking, that's the one-upmanship that propels the system. This water is better than that water. The competition began, and you began to, oh, I can't drink any water because it's all polluted and blah, 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 blah. And now I have to spend money on water. How much money do you spend a month on water? How much money do you spend a week on water? There used to be water fountains and free water. Why are we paying for water? Why are we paying for fluoridated water? Why are we drinking it? Why is it running through our homes? Why are we giving it to our children? Because we have allowed others to take the responsibility and to control what we consume. We've given our powers away. What rights do I have as a consumer? I was not birthed into this system to be a consumer. I was not birthed into this system to be a constituent to a political agenda. I was not birthed into this system to be anyone's victim, not even my own. When we learn the divinity that's within, the power that is our birthright, the power to create and co-create, to harness life force, to create life, to respect life and to honor life, and to take life. It is responsibility. It is great responsibility. And we have gotten away from the collective consciousness that needs to exist in order for harmony, balance to be. We've gotten too busy caught up in competition and who's right and who's wrong, who talks the loudest, who talks the most, who talks the best game. We've lost sight of truth because we've listened to so much rhetoric and what sounds good to the ego and not what feels good to the spirit and the soul. I am first my own keeper. Then I am my brother's keeper and my sister's keeper. Because without them I cannot exist. I can't be here on this planet by myself. I'm not designed that way. I'm designed to need companionship. I'm designed to need association. I'm designed to need interaction. I'm designed to need the connections in order to express and learn myself fully. I need you. And we have gotten so far away from being able to say we need someone that we think that's a weakness. To need someone is a strength because it says I know me. And no matter how high I vibrate, no matter who I channel or how much I channel, no matter my gifts or abilities, I need you. And I just need you to be you. I don't need you to be me. I don't need you to compete with me. I don't need you to be better than me. I don't need you to be less than me. I just need you to be you. When you look at your presidents and your dictators and your people that are in charge, who do you need them to be? Overseers, masters, parents, legislators. Who do you need them to be? Why are you allowing them to be other than that? Why are you empowering them to be other than that? We look at different countries that have held revolts and regimes have turned, and different what's the word? Democracies and whatever kind of systems that are in place. We've watched them being overthrown and overturned because the people have felt oppressed. And they said, what are you doing? What are you doing? We have put you in charge of us for this long. And look at what you're doing. I cannot stand by any longer and let you do this to my children, to my grandchildren, to my great-grandchildren, to me, to my brother, to my sister. You cannot do this. It is unjust. It is unfair. It is cruel. It is inhuman. Inhuman to monopolize. It is inhuman to compete with your brother and sister. It is inhuman to cause an imbalance in the very essence of the life forces that we need to continue. Messing with the planet, messing with the ground, messing with the soil, all in the name of what? It is in that God that you trust. That is not my God. That is not where I put my trust. That is not where I put my hope. My hope is not in a dollar bill. A dollar bill is not going to save. That bill, that bill is not going to save me. That bill is temporary. That bill is of this system. It was invented. That bill can be reproduced and demoted and devalued and whatever else. There are currency. Love is a currency. Real love is a currency. It is a God. It is who I place my trust in. It is who I place my hope in. It's who I teach my children about. I teach them to value love. I teach them to value truth, not a dollar bill. Because in the end, it is not that dollar bill that makes you who you are. It is who you know yourself to be. It is your relationship with yourself, not your relationship to money, not your relationship to the economy or wealth. It is your relationship with yourself that determines your value, that determines your integrity, that in term that determines who you are as a being, what you share, what you give. So many people get caught up in mass and different personas that they don't know who they are or how to be. You know, you have to do the work. You have to do the work. The time is coming where the work must be done. The work must be done. Am I trying to make a dollar for me? Anyway, because we are sustained by the dollar bill right now, that is the currency. At one point in time, it used to be spices. At one time, it used to be the oils. At one time, it used to be jewels. At one time, it used to be plants. One time, it used to be a pie, or a cloth. Currency is what you give your energy to, what you empower. What if we made the stone people currency, the rocks currency? Whoever has the most rocks is the richest person. Let's see how many people carry around their wealth and what they do with their wealth. We need to learn that we are our wealth. Our belief, our faith, our discernment, our decisions is what make us who we are. And we have to learn to make the right decisions. And in order to do that, we have to be reborn. We have to go back through that which we came from in a ritualistic, in a symbiotic, in a symbolistic, in a metaphysical way. We have to begin again and clear through all of these things and cut these cords that need to be cut so that we can proceed unhampered and in a healthy state of being and mind, so that we are able to be responsible for ourselves and we don't have to keep giving away our power and say, manage me, micromanage me. Come take over for me. I can't do this. I'm a damsel in distress. Ooh. It's time to be who we are meant to be. And there are so many who will remain trapped in this old paradigm of thinking and being and relating and knowing that it saddens me to a great deal. It really does. But I've realized that all I can do is what I'm doing. Is talking, is speaking, is living it, is being transparent, is showing you my humanness, showing you my divinity, showing you my gifts as well as my frailties and faults, because I'm not in competition with you, but I am a compliment to you, and you are a compliment to me. When we are vibrating at our highest frequency, we are in harmony with each other. We create a beautiful symphony, a wonderful song, a wonderful segue, and the universe chimes in, and it just becomes this beautiful energy, and it surrounds you. And if you're seeing all this pinkness, that's probably my essence right now coming into play, because I'm feeling all kind of downloads right now, and um, I've learned as I've watched these videos that there are certain little um, nuances that I can see when I'm changing or channeling or doing whatever I'm doing, and when it's me that's speaking and when it's spirit that's speaking, and when I've stepped into that flow, there is a certain glow that takes place that is better than any medicine, any drug, any stimulant, any meditation, any love, any relationship. You know, it is a divine compliance with loving yourself. That's what I feel. And that's what you see. If you noticing aura changes or color or light or whatever, just understand what it is. It is the energy. When we learn to see energy and notice ourselves within that energy, we learn to control our breathing. We learn to control our emotions. We learn to control our reactions. We learn to get in touch with our desires. And we learn how to manifest. And that's what it's all about. And we need teachers to help us. I have had many teachers. I still sit at many people's feet and I bow to them. I bow humbly to them. Because for me to sit up here and act like I know it all is a lie. For me to sit up here and act like I'm perfect and my poo don't stink is a lie. And I can sit here and want to be this, how can I say, this professional person. And I can sit up here and I have the intelligence to pull it off and to make it happen. But I lose me in some of that. And there are some parts that won't allow me to stray from the roots of my being and who I am. See, who I am, a professional appearance, and who I am is not at odds and it's not in competition. They're just different aspects that need to be brought to the table and organized. And I'm learning that. And I'm learning I don't have to share everything. And I'm learning that sometimes some things are too much. And I'm learning that some things may offend people. And I'm learning how not to be affected by those things. I'm learning to be me and be responsible for me. I'm not responsible for what you think. If I post something, I post it with a certain intention, and I try to express that intention as well as I can. But if you see it and you project your feelings on it or your thoughts on it or your experiences on it, I'm not responsible for that. That's you. You know, I set it out there with this intention. How you interpreted it, that's on you. That's not on me. I can't be responsible for how you interpret something. Okay? I can only be responsible for my integrity and my intention of doing it or putting it out there. You know? I can't be responsible for what you think. To put myself in that state would drive me crazy. You know, and I have at one point been there worrying about what somebody thinks, and it was always somebody I was in a relationship with, you know, because it was a certain different frequency, and I wanted the acceptance, and I wanted the connection, and I wanted them to see and to understand. But I realize now that some things you will see and some things you won't. Some things you'll agree with and some things you won't. Because we are two different expressions of the divine, you know? And that's okay. And it's okay to be aware of differences. It's okay to do things differently, to see things from different angles is a requirement of the soul and the spirit's growth. If you just see things from one angle, then you're missing so much. Just think if we only saw a full moon and we didn't know what a half moon or a waning moon or a waxing moon or a crescent moon was. We couldn't experience the different shifts in the ebb and flow of that energy, that light energy upon our beings. If we never experienced an eclipse, there's so much that is harmonious and natural in the nature of being human. We have gotten away from it. We have allowed corporations and greedy people and banks and institutions to institutionalize our way of thinking, to herd us into these masses and corral us in their belief systems. It's foreign. It does not compute. It does not feel natural. It is not natural for one to have and to rise meteorically and the other to be left on the ground, cold, naked, and hungry. And to say you don't see it is as bad as walking to that person and putting your foot on its neck. We are responsible for ourselves first. Then we are responsible for our families and our children. And then that extends out, and extends out, and extends out, and extends out to we are responsible for each grain of sand. When we get to these realizations, we will usher in a new way of being, a more natural way of being, one that is more in harmony with the spirit and not the flesh. And that is where we're going. That is what the ascension is all about. That is what elevation is all about. It's not stepping over people or stepping on people. It's raising your own understanding and frequency and your own divinity. It's about taking personal responsibility for yourself. So many of us are conditioned to want other people to take care of us. We get sick so we can go to a hospital and be treated by nurses. And now we have these systems in place that want to rate how were you cared for, how was this, and how was that. Not just in telemarketing, but in surveys and hospitals and this, and restaurants and everything. And based upon what you say, that person, that individual is judged. They keep their job based upon how they served you. How are we serving each other? It's time for us as a species to start seeing each other, to start relating with each other, and to start recognizing not the faults, not the pathology, not just the behaviors, the necessary for intimacy with ourselves and with each other, the necessary need for truth, for morality. And that doesn't mean I put my morality on you, because my morality might not work for you. It's not based for you. It wasn't created for you. It was designed by me for me. Okay? And I am not belittled or set high above because my morals are different than yours. It's just who I am, how I govern myself, what I can live with and what I can't. You know, what makes me feel good and what makes me doesn't. So I have to be true and honest with myself. And if you are me and I am you, then I have to be honest with you as well. And when we start being honest with each other, that means we're taking responsibility for ourselves, for our relationship, for our way of being. And things begin to change because of that. Because of the awareness that is shared. Because of the integrity that is exchanged. Okay, I'm getting ready to close now. And I hope everything is everything. It came out the way it came out. And as I get used to doing this, it'll be more fluid and more free. But I said what I needed to say, and Spirit spoke through me. And right now I am good with what I have shared. So, and next time I'll try not to hold back more. Because I realize I am holding back some things. And I think that's just because of my own little insecurities of my own ego. But I'm dealing with that. And as I move forward and create more of these videos, I hope they are helping you as well, because they are definitely helping me in my evolution of myself. And I'm getting more grounded, and I am way more able to focus. And Spirit is now speaking to me in such a way that to not listen is to walk smack into a wall. You know, what you say, bro? Best to pay attention. Best to listen. I've been told to share the candle one more time. What that means, I don't know. But, okay. Sometimes it's easier to do a candle meditation. And in doing a candle meditation, all you do is you silence your monkey mind, your ego mind. Stare at the flame, and you begin to have a quietness that takes place within you, and you allow yourself to focus on this energy and let this energy speak to you. Let the energy that is inside of you speak. You're just focusing on the flame. You're just focusing on the candle. There are different ways. There's so many different ways to meditate. Fire is one of my ways. Fire has always been one of my ways of meditating. It calls me the flames dance. Um, it just is what it is. And so with saying that, I just want to, don't know why I was asked to share it, but it is what it is. And um, I'm closing now. Namaste, and I love you. Be love. Be blessed. Invest in yourself, in your health. Don't leave your health up to this system and this society. Don't leave it in the hands of doctors alone. Learn to become in tune with your body, to intuitively know where you're storing something, or where something is feeling, or where you're hurting, or where that's coming from. The more we become in tune with ourselves, the more we learn, the more we can be responsible in our own upkeep and healing and ways of knowing. So I admonish you to look into yourself deeply. I'm going to be sharing what I'm doing to learn holistically how to care for myself. I'm going to be bringing people on my radio shows. You're going to start hearing a lot more from me from a health perspective, because things that are getting ready to happen are designed to suck the life force away, to diminish it. And I'm here at this time to help you learn to increase your life force, to help you be able to expand beyond your limited abilities right now. I can only say the water is right here. You can come and drink. It's free. It's healthy. It's nurturing. But I can't force your head down in there and drink, drink, drink. That's not my job. I can say I'm learning this, and it's not only beneficial to you, it's beneficial to me. Not only monetarily, but this can help you monetarily. This can be your side thing. You can pay for your own oils by having someone else order oils. And always looking at something and say, oh, that's too much. You don't say that about your flat screen TV. You don't say that about the gym shoes you wear or the logos of your purse. But when it comes to your own health, that's too much. I ain't paying that much. I ain't paying that much. That girl, that's too expensive. Oil? When what you don't realize is that the plant kingdom was here first. And this one little oil is more beneficial for you than what you have in your whole medical cabinet right now, and what you pay over the counter for those little things. You could have saved you so much just by getting this oil that has been in use for ages and centuries for the very thing that the pharmaceutical company copied. And aspirin came from a plant. They knew that. They said, okay, instead of making you go out and gather this plant, we're going to go gather it and we're going to do it for you and we're going to synthesize it and sell it to you at a much cheaper price because we're mass producing it for everybody. And with this mass production, there are little things that can happen within your body. There's side effects and this and that come from the synthesization process, but you didn't have to go find the plant and process it yourself. So I'm done. I'm not. I keep telling people I don't sell things well. I'm not a seller. I don't sell. Looking for me to sell products, I can't sell them. But if I come into contact with you with something that speaks to my spirit, I share. And since I've been on the air, since I've been me, not just on the air or on Facebook or any other social program, I've always shared. If I come across something, I share it because we are one. And if I know it and it makes me better, and I know it can make you better, then it makes the world better. And that is the premise. So I'm definitely getting off now. And I just want to say again, thank you for, I thank you too for this. I'm thankful for this computer to be able to do this. I'm thankful for the healing that has taken place within myself that allows me to be able to sit here and do this. And I just want to say I'm thankful for all the things, all the people, all the change that is happening and that is beginning to happen. It encourages me and it gives me hope. I see the world in a much, much different light than I ever have before. And that within itself is amazing to me because I've always felt things and I knew how I felt about the things. But to actually step inside the frequency, the energy of the universe and to connect with it in a way that in a way that aligns my spirit to that of the universe, that universal flow. Um, it's everything, and I really don't have the words to explain it, but I hope you see it. I hope it shines forth. I hope you see it in my eyes. I hope you see it in my smile. Those that are able to see auras and energy, I hope you see it shine through. And I just hope you feel the energy because I am right now exuding a warmness for humanity, for the elementals, for hope, for love. And in saying that, I'm going to stop now. Because I am babbling, I'm doing me, and not so much spirit. So, again, thank you.